The thunder heads over Montana boiled like a witch's cauldron, lightning forking the sky as I, Elijah Thorne, spurred my horse through the howling gale. Rain lashed my face like buckshot, blinding me as I charged toward the swollen banks of the Big Sky River. What was left of it was being swept away in the flash flood, their panicked bellows drowned by the roar of water. I leaned low over the saddle, rope uncoiled in one hand, heart pounding like a war drum. One steer, a big black brute I'd raised from a calf, thrashed in the current, eyes wide with terror. I leaped from my mount, boots sinking into the mud, and plunged into the icy torrent. My fingers clamped onto his horn, muscles screaming as I hauled against the pull that nearly dragged me under. "Come on, you bastard," I growled, water choking my throat. I got him to the bank, then another, but the flood claimed half the damn herd, their bodies vanishing into the foam like ghosts as the storm broke. Leaving the prairie a sodden wasteland, I slumped against a rock, breath ragged, despair knifing through me sharper than any blade. The ranch was a ruin, now fields drowned, well fouled with silt, fences splintered like matchsticks, and there, in the back of my mind, Eliza's face flickered like a dying lantern. 3 years ago, a storm just like this had stolen her from me, fever hitting her hard after we'd fought the waters together. I'd buried her under that lone pine by the creek, her warm laugh silenced forever, leaving me hollowed out, just a shell rattling in this unforgiving land. I'd loved her fierce, the way her touch could melt the frost in my soul on winter nights, but losing her had turned my heart to stone. Survival out here wasn't life. It was a slow bleed, clinging to threads of hope that frayed with every dawn. That's why I'd swallowed my pride and scratched out that letter to the matrimonial agency in Billings. No poetry, just raw need, a sturdy wife, plain and tough as leather, to shoulder the burdens without cracking open the scars I'd sealed shut. Beauty? Hell no. Eliza's had been a wildfire that consumed me, and I couldn't risk that burn again. I craved grit over grace, a partner to mend wire and stir stew, not one whose eyes would haunt my dreams and stir forbidden longings. The telegram hit like a thunderclap, bride arriving noon train. Iron Ridge, my hands shook as I hitched the team to the buckboard, pulling on my one clean shirt, the same I'd worn to Eliza's grave. The 25-mile trail was a gauntlet of doubt, dust devils whipping grit into my eyes like accusations. What if she was fragile as china? What if she glimpsed my broken spread and hightailed it back east? Worst of all, what if she echoed Elisa's soft curves, a smile that could thaw a man's resolve and leave him aching for more than he deserved? Iron Ridge squatted in the dust like a forgotten outpost, clapboard shacks huddled against the wind, the saloon belching out miners reeking of whiskey and regret. Heads swiveled as I rolled in. Old Jenkins, the storekeep with a jagged scar from a cave-in, leaned on his counter and smirked. "Thorne, you old coyote, finally roping yourself a missus. 'Bout time you quit playing lone wolf up on that hill." Beside him, Martha from the boarding house, her face lined like cracked earth, clucked her tongue. "Hope she ain't counting on sweet nothings, Elijah. Your heart's as barren as these badlands dried up since Eliza." The Reverend Harlan loomed tall with his Bible clutched like a shield, his voice gravelly. "The good Lord provides, but the West chews up the weak. Pray she's got spine, son, or she break like the rest." The train's whistle shredded the air, a banshee cry amid the billowing smoke. Passengers tumbled out weary families, slick salesmen hawking snake oil, roughnecks with calloused hands. I scanned for plainness, homespun dress, solid build, eyes that didn't pierce the soul. Then she descended Isabella Montgomery, her name a whisper on the wind. Chestnut hair cascaded like autumn wheat under her hat, grey eyes stormy as the skies I'd just battled. Lips curved with a vitality that hit me like a gut punch. She wasn't sturdy. She was a tempest in modest calico, her form hinting at secrets that could unravel a man. The crowd froze, then buzzed like angry bees. Jenkins whistled low. That ain't no plow horse, Thorne, that's a wild Mustang ready to bolt. Martha hissed to Harlan, mark my words, she's fleeing something dark back east. Scandal, heartbreak, or worse. What's a beauty like her doing with a scarred-up rancher? I nodded stiffly, voice thick as tar. Miss Montgomery. Our hands brushed as I lifted her trunk, a spark that jolted through me. Awakening hungers I'd buried deep, clashing with Eliza's gentle ghost. Heat surged, forbidden and fierce, stirring emotions I'd sworn off, longing for touch, for shared whispers in the dark, for a love that might heal or destroy. As we loaded up, her gaze met mine, probing, promising storms I wasn't ready to face. What shadows chased this woman west? What fire burned in her that could either warm my frozen world or reduce it to ashes? The ride home stretched eternal, silence thick with unspoken questions, my heart torn between dread and a dangerous spark of hope.